Hello, friends. It's Pastor Don here, and it's time for, it's been a couple of weeks, I know, but it's time for this week's episode of PD on Pop Culture. Um, Things have been a little crazy. Had church conference coming up. I was out of town a little bit, and so things kind of fell to the side, but I'm back. No worries. And it is that travel that I wanted to talk to you about today. Some of you, if we're friends on Facebook, maybe you saw something that I posted when I was traveling. I went down to South Carolina to visit with my oldest daughter, and I was flying. And what I posted on Facebook was that flying used to be fun, and it's not fun anymore. And what I mean by that is that it used to be this amazing thing that you would go to the airport, you get on a plane, 2 hours later you're 600 miles away in a completely different climate, and it was miraculous and it was fun and there was a lot of excitement in it. Now the whole process of and I'm not saying that we shouldn't do these things, but the whole process of TSA security and the long lines and getting there 2 hours ahead of time and having to wait, and sit, and because usually the airports aren't that busy or they move you through security pretty quickly, and so more often than not you end up sitting at your gate and waiting for an hour and a half, before you start to board, and then having to wear a mask the whole time, and it's just not that, again, not that people shouldn't wear a mask, but that it's just for hours and hours on end. And you're not used to it. I know there's healthcare professionals that have to do it all day long. God bless you. I'm not one of those persons, and having to wear it for hours on end, it's just it's not fun. It's not fun. So, that's kind of how I felt. Like, this is just not, it's not fun like it used to be. I used to love to travel by plane. And I'm jealous of people who do a lot of traveling. I'm looking at you, Norma, uh, who travel a lot and get to see a lot of places. I've been to a few places that have been wonderful experiences and would love to travel more, but like I said, it's just not as fun to travel as it used to be. Um, but anyway, it made me think about, well, what does Scripture say about traveling? And I came across this as Deuteronomy chapter 3. So this is Old Testament, chapter 31, verse 8. The Lord himself will go before you. He will be with you. He will not leave you or forget you. Don't be afraid and don't worry. Now, I will say that more often than not, I don't worry about traveling. I don't worry about, is there going to be an incident, a car accident, or whatever. Um, but I did have a funny exchange with my daughter. Now I won't share the whole thing. I don't want to embarrass her, but that had me thinking. Well, gosh, I certainly hope nothing happens on this trip, because I didn't give her a hug before I left, and she was upset with me for that. but um, but there is reassurance in that scripture that God goes with you wherever you go, whatever the situations of your travel, good, bad, or indifferent. That God is with you. God is traveling with you. God goes before you. It doesn't mean that everything's going to turn out right, but it does mean that you're within God's will, and that God is with you, and there's comfort in that, right? um Things do happen. It's the nature of this world, but it is comforting to know that whatever happens, God is with us. And so that's kind of where I was. I traveled down to South Carolina, came home a couple days ago. It's nice to go down. I went down to visit with my oldest daughter. Um, and it was nice to visit. It was nice to be down there. The weather was a little warmer than it is here, but it's nice to come home too. I just wish it wasn't so awful to travel anymore. Maybe next time I'll drive. It's a long drive. Anyway, that's what I have for you this week, folks. Take care and God bless. Bye now.